Farmer Xiao, with only dust clinging to his boots and humility deeply rooted in his soul, walks into a high-end tractor dealership, completely unaware that he's about to become the center of ridicule by the very people who believe they're above him. But oh, how quickly the tables will turn, because what they don't know, he's the father of the man who owns the entire multi-million-dollar tractor company. And once that truth is revealed, their smug expressions will crumble faster than dry dirt in the summer sun. This quiet, humble man? He's about to teach them a lesson in respect, and it'll cost them more than they ever dared to imagine. Want to watch how arrogance meets its downfall? Stick around till the very end, because you're about to witness the raw, undeniable power of humility. The sun burned fiercely from above, casting waves of heat down onto the parched ground as Xiao shuffled along the sidewalk. His steps were slow, but steady, each one imprinting the dry earth beneath his weather-beaten boots. They were boots worn by years of toil and truth. His clothes? Faded, simple, and stained with the honest labor of a life spent under open skies, among crops and sweat. The back of his shirt clung to him, soaked in the sweat of another long day's work. But did he mind? Not one bit. This was his life, and he wore it proudly. He never expected, not even in the wildest corners of his imagination, that he'd step foot into a place like this. As he entered the dealership, a blast of cool air hit him like a wave, sharp, sudden, and almost surreal. It was the kind of chill that didn't belong to men like him, the kind that tried to whisper, "You don't belong here." Everything inside sparkled. Gleaming floors, polished surfaces, expensive lighting fixtures that cast a sterile glow over everything. For a moment, it felt like he'd stepped into another world entirely. Rows of tractors lined the space, each one a polished marvel of modern engineering. Their smooth, reflective bodies caught the sunlight that filtered through the tall, spotless windows. They looked more like sculptures than machines, the kind of equipment that belonged in catalogs, not muddy fields. These weren't just tools, they were statements. Far, far removed from the dented, reliable machine back on Zhao's modest farm. But this visit wasn't random. His son, Victor Pereira, the brilliant mind and driving force behind this massive tractor empire, had asked him to check on a few of the company's branches. Not for a flashy inspection, not to make noise.
No.
Victor wanted the truth. He wanted to know how his stores were treating real customers, especially the ones who walked in with worn boots and no-name tags. Xiao knew his son well. This wasn't just about business. This was about integrity, about heart, about staying grounded, even when you're soaring sky-high. Still, as he stepped deeper into the dealership, he couldn't shake the feeling that he didn't quite fit. The sharply dressed salespeople behind their desks glanced at him sideways, their polished shoes and ironed collars a sharp contrast to his dusty boots and sun-aged hands. Their eyes narrowed. Their whispers rose just enough to sting.
Who was this guy?
And what did he think he was doing here? But Xiao stayed calm. Still. Observant. He wasn't here for drama. He was here for something more meaningful. The showroom was quiet, yet tension buzzed under the surface. The air was icy cold compared to the relentless heat outside, and the glass walls shimmered with artificial light. But Xiao didn't notice the chill. His focus was locked in. Each tractor he passed, he studied with quiet reverence. The smooth metal curves, the intricate control panels, the raw power beneath the hoods. He couldn't help but compare them to his own battered machine back home. His old tractor had seen seasons rise and fall, crops flourish and fade. It was dependable, honest. But these were machines built for a new world. Still, Xiao admired them. Not with envy, but with appreciation. He wandered slowly, hands behind his back, like someone walking through a gallery. But the stares? They didn't stop. In fact, they intensified. The whispers grew louder. The judgment in the eyes of the staff. Unmistakable. They didn't see a customer. They saw an interruption. An outsider. One of them, a younger man named Raphael, had been watching since the moment Xiao walked in. Tall, neatly dressed, his hair perfectly styled, his expression locked somewhere between boredom and irritation. He didn't hide his thoughts well. They were written all over his face. Eventually, Raphael strutted over. That fake smile, wide and empty, stretched across his face. "Can I help you with something, sir?" he asked, his voice thick with sarcasm. The kind of tone that screamed, "You don't belong here," without saying the words aloud. Xiao met his gaze, calm and unshaken. "Just looking," he replied. His tone? Quiet.
Steady.
Like someone who had nothing to prove and everything to teach. Raphael raised an eyebrow, smirked, and turned away with a subtle shake of his head. The message was clear: don't waste my time. But Xiao didn't react. He'd been looked down on before, many times. And every time, he held his peace, knowing that real value doesn't shout. It stands tall, quietly. He continued walking, eyes still exploring the rows of machines, admiring the craftsmanship, the promise of progress in every gear and engine. But beneath it all, he couldn't ignore the weight of judgment pressing in from all sides. The employees weren't subtle. Their chuckles, their stares, it all painted a picture. One that said, "This man doesn't belong here." Yet Xiao stayed focused. Then, right as he was admiring one of the most massive, impressive tractors on the floor, Raphael returned. His fake smile was back, tighter this time. "I see you're looking at our premium models," he said, every word dipped in disdain. "But maybe something a bit more practical would suit you better. Something for, someone like you." That's where we'll pause, because what happens next? You'll want to see it. The looks on their faces when they learn who Xiao really is? Priceless. So stick around, because this humble farmer is about to flip their world upside down, and you won't want to miss a second of it.